Good evening, Malaysia and followers from around the world. Tonight, we have our guest, Dato' Ameer Ali Mydin, the Managing Director of Homegrown Hypermarket Mydin. He is also the President of the Bumiputra Retailers Organization, or BRO, bro. Okay. And of course, Tan Sri Johan Jafar. And welcome back, Dato'.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good to have you back again for sure. Now, let's get down to business. If you follow the news reports, pay cuts, loss of jobs has hit hundreds of thousands of income earners in Malaysia. We talk a lot about B40, but M40 is in danger of sliding down to B40. And according to the figures that we have, 900,000 households from middle class has gone down to B40, and that is only the 2019 figures. We do not know how much those figures have gone up in 2020 and 2021. Now, Dato', according to you as the boss of the hypermarket Mydin, as well as the Bumiputra Retailers Organization, do you see the kind of impact that has affected the middle class since then? And what is the impact on consumption to your organization and to your supermarket with this very sad situation that has hit the middle class?
Thank you, Dato' Sri, and hi, Tan Sri. All right. I think basically, we all know generally that economy is bad out there. I mean, there's no question about it. Times are hard. People don't have enough money. Just talking about retailers, because there's SME stories, there's the manufacturing stories, there are a lot of stories here. But being from the retail industry, the retailers themselves, we know, I think first, 20% of the retailers' outlets in shopping centers have already closed. 200,000 have already been retrenched. This is last month. And since it's continuing now, when we ask our retailers, send a questionnaire, just in case, let's say if the MCO, whatever, EMCO continues for another 2-3 months, what is going to happen? If the MCO is in July, the numbers that come up with 30%, there'll be more retrenched, and there'll be another 30% more shops closing. So what will happen now is that just the retail industry itself, there's going to be 500,000 people retrenched. If you imagine the retail industry 500,000, then you go to the supply chain. It's massive, because then it's the lorry driver, nothing to deliver, the vegetable farmer, because we don't buy vegetables, because less people consume, less stores to sell to. Okay? And what we see in the country, obviously, is that shops are not open. Nothing against people selling on the roadside, but then end of the day, people are selling on the roadside, right? Of course, difficult to comply SOP. That's another subject, But consumption-wise, what we see, even for someone like Mydin, which is a hypermarket, hypermarket, primarily 80% of the things are food and general, we call it essential. It's another big, ugly word out there. Essential. We already have a 15% to 20% decline. If you just take a simple number, we do $3 billion sales a year. 20% for us is 600 million. Can you imagine? This is going on for 1 year now, 16 months, and we are going down and down. We are worse off now than we were exactly last year. And last year was already an MCO. Correct? So it's bad. Consumption is bad. People are no longer buying. Even we offer them. Normally, everything we want to offer everything. Buy 3, 1 free. Buy 3, 1 free. Now they say, never mind, I buy 1 at a higher price. Because tak ada duit. Not enough money. And with all this unemployment that is going around, the M40 going B40, I'm worried what's going to happen in future. Because end of the day, we depend on the GDP. We depend on people to be able to buy, and that's what drives the economy. So this is really serious out there, and we really have to do something.
Dato', on the follow-up, one more question. I'm still talking from a consumer's point of view. Okay, now I go to hypermarket a lot. Okay, I compare prices. I've noticed that the prices of vegetables have gone up slightly. And the second thing is that we all need to buy fruits. I noticed that the prices of fruits, especially imported ones, have really, really shot up. So for most Malaysians, when they look at the prices, the ones that's reasonable are papaya. Papaya, so sometimes 8 ringgit per kg. And then, of course, the watermelon. Okay. And well, mangoes have dropped because that they cannot, they have a problem lasting, right? So, but seriously, the prices of vegetables and fruits have really gone up unbelievably. If these politicians do not go to the supermarket, do not go to markets, they have no idea what's the cost of living is like. And is it because of what the reasons for the increase in the price of vegetables and the imported fruits?
Okay. Of course, there's a US currency, ringgit, a factor to be taken into account, which is actually not too bad, not too bad. Mm-hmm. We've been around that range, 4.1, 4.2 for some time. So it's not that bad. It's not a currency issue per se. It's a supply issue. Supply issue, there are many supply issues. Okay. Number one is basically importation. Our ports are congested. I mean, over the world, you must have heard ports are congested. China ports are congested. Freight charges have increased by 4-fold. So freight charges is the main factor. Then the delay. It takes 7 to 14 days to clear a container now in Port Klang. Oh. So can you imagine when you import fruits, you can say they have a special service for food. Okay, it still takes time. So now there's a deterioration of quality. First, you have delay, congestion in China, for example, or wherever it is. There's any congestion there. So there's a delay there. We come to Malaysia, even Singapore for that matter, there's congestion. So congestion. So cannot clear fast enough. So value, quality, and of course, when you have more disposal, people need to sell higher. Yeah. Now, when we talk about local, seriously, actually, local prices went up recently because of the so-called EMCU and Cameron Highlands and all that. But now, it's actually stabilized. The only reason the prices are going up is for supply. And why there's a shortage of supply in Malaysia? Simply because workforce. People are not allowed to work, 60% capacity. We have a lot of so-called illegal farmers, so many illegal workers. There's no really plan to get them legalized. That's another big topic there. But in any case, there's a shortage of people to work. We know a shortage of people in plantation, there's shortage of people here, the so-called getting the foreigners. See, even for us, for the matter, the staff that have gone back, they're not coming back. That is one. We cannot bring back a new one because there's a freeze in employment. We cannot bring people in. So these are shortages, which I actually frankly cannot see why. The problem actually, it's not COVID. It's not COVID. COVID to me is an issue in terms of, there's a medical issue. No medicine, we go to the hospital, we do this, wear the mask. And then we can solve that issue seriously. But the issue seriously is everything else. And everybody is blaming COVID. I don't see COVID as a problem. I mean, I pray nobody gets COVID, but I don't think COVID is a problem. COVID problem can be solved. But the people around not solving the challenges. We've been hearing we don't have workers in the plantation sector, so we lose money. Because no workers. Why no workers? They are not all having COVID, right? We have restriction. Oh, cannot bring foreigners. We got 3 million illegals here, but you don't do anything about the illegals anyway. Oh, they're all in the jail. They're all in the jungle. We don't do anything about it. No. We must employ local. The local don't want to do the job. Plantation, even industry. There is I think the conversation should not be on COVID. The conversation should be what is wrong with the country. Okay, why are we having so many problems which are not COVID related? COVID is an excuse. Oh, we cannot bring the foreigners in because there's a COVID in the country. Come on, you bring the foreigners in, you quarantine them for 21 days. I'm telling you, not only me, any employer is going to be willing to pay for it in your 5-star, soon-to-be-closed hotel. Okay? Yep. We pay for it. Allow them to come in. So we have people. We have lack of people. And the locals cannot do this work. The locals are out there unemployed, but we know the situation in Malaysia, right? Certain jobs these people won't do. So let's accept it. Why we cannot accept this thing? That's the problem.
Tan Sri Johan, your views, please.
Yeah,
Questions?
Dato' Ameer, of course, we don't want this pandemic. Nobody wanted this, and it is here. We have no choice but to basically, as of now, we have to live with it. My question is, nobody wants any form of MCO or even worse, lockdown. But you see, you put yourself in the government shoes. What do you think they would do at this stage when we have at least 9,000 people now? You know, more than 9,000 people infected yesterday alone, and the numbers is going up. So everyone is worried. So I guess what is the other solution other than lockdowns and MCO from your perspective, Dato'?
I think we have to start with Einstein's phrase, insanity. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. I think that summarizes everything. We are going lockdown after lockdown after lockdown. Okay, it's the same thing as, every time a child doesn't do that, you take a rotan, you rotan. You only hope this guy is going to change. You don't do counseling, you don't do anything else. You just want to rotan. It doesn't work. After 16 months, I'm telling you, people are not following the MCOs. All right, there is so much cheating going around. Birthday parties are going around. Okay, not outside. Even my relatives, I know, I see photos coming out. People are cheating because there is an exhaustion out there. Okay, exhaustion out there. So when we know it cannot work anymore, we got to change the approach. I don't deny, Tan Sri, something needs to be done. The numbers are big. I've got my own staff dying, my own relatives dying. This is the worst thing, right? All of us know somebody who has died. This is horrible. Okay, my suggestion, simple suggestion, only two simple suggestions. Number one, I agree on the lockdown. No question about it. But lockdown must be done correctly. Why is it there are two ways of locking down? In Kuala Lumpur, we are under EMCO. The whole state, seriously, the whole state of Selangor, 1-2 Mukim there, is EMCO. In KL, they're locking down by PPR flats. They go to the flat, they lock it down. Okay? Other places, you're okay. All right? You can do whatever you want. They lock down by buildings. Selangor is such a big place. You can do the same thing. Why you have to lock down the whole state? That's very important. And another part about that is that where is the lockdown and where are the issues? The lockdowns are, we all know, manufacturing, Dr. Admin says no, Disler says no, numbers come out, never mind, let them all fight it out. But we know where the problem is. I'm surprised first is manufacturing that many, but okay, never mind, that's the number. But you know what? Create a red bubble then. Forget the green bubble, create a red bubble. The factories actually are the easiest to lock down. They have a factory, the people stay behind. Of course, somebody moves them to a 4-star hotel, that's a different story. But you can control that environment, lock it down. Most of them are asymptomatic. The factory actually can run, because you know what? If all of them are COVID-19, they actually don't know they're COVID-19. You just test their COVID. They're all healthy foreigners, they are young. Let the factory run. I don't see the problem. Why you have to quarantine people when they are able to work? So you quarantine a red bubble and let the factories run. So factories run. The GDP goes up. We cannot be shutting down. Seriously. So you have that. Of course, people who don't comply, you go and close them down, SOPs, blah, blah, blah. Do what you need. Someone 50,000 every day. But this is one way of doing this. The second part, because I don't like to talk about other people's business. Sometimes, what you know about manufacturing, my thing is retailers. Why are the shopping centers closed? Why? All right. First, It's a movement control order. It's not a purchase control order. Read the language. Movement control order. Very good. Stop. Just make sure people don't move. How do you stop that? My friend, two people in the car. Nobody denies it. You are one person in the car. Fine. One person in the car. Okay, fine. You enter shopping center. We already know in shopping center how many people are allowed. We are actually counting people coming in. More than that, sorry. So there's already a sign, 1,000, 500, whatever. Shopping centers are very big. They are not small. Even a shop also is small. They already got only 5 people coming in. So you have very restricted numbers. Under the height report, which is before the lockdown, cluster of shopping center is 0.8%. You close down the whole retail industry for 0.8%. You can't start out the manufacturing and the construction. And we contribute 35% of the GDP. What is wrong with the people who are calculating we don't have the right economics or what? And I don't mind, seriously, if we are the cause of the cluster, you say, Dato' Amir, you talk, but you know how dare you are the one cheating. So, close down. But we are 0.8% of the cluster. We are so strict. No mask, you cannot go in. Okay, you don't want children to go in, fine. 12-year-old children, don't go in. All right? Okay? Parking lots are being timed. People are going in for only 1.5 hours. If you go to one Utama for 1.5 hours, you know what happened? First, it takes you half an hour to park and to walk to what you want to buy, right? And you got a queue there. Why there's a queue? We are causing the queue, right? We want them to follow SOPs. It's not that the shop is crowded. The shop is not crowded. We are taking the responsibility to not have the crowd. Long queues outside, 1 meter distancing. Another one. We only allow people with low risk to go in. You are a high risk, you can't go in. So your My Sejahtera app, thanks God for whoever did it. You can complain for the $70 million, but it works. It says low risk. We don't allow people in. We have a temperature check. Don't know how effective that is. We sanitize the building. We know it doesn't work according to whatever expert, but so many experts nowadays. So we follow. It costs us $30,000 to sanitize a building, every time there's a closure. And how many retailers are closed? 4 of my hypermarkets were closed. Each time closed. My Justin one was closed. I test everybody. And then, I have to sanitize $25,000. I open. Money is being thrown away. And we are not the cause of it. Open the retailers. Okay? You will solve all the problem. We don't want the government money. No, government, please go and give to whoever you want to give. We don't need your money. Seriously. Let us open up because we are complying. Less people come to the shop. We're not going to complain. We're not going to complain. But I think we must be allowed ourselves to stand on our own feet.
Okay, Dato'.
Beggars.
Okay, Dato', you know that 1 week of EMCO is coming to pass, and that we have 1 more week, and the numbers have continued to go up, even higher. Obviously, that the strategies that we have adopted, the lockdowns has failed. That's a fact. If it has worked, the numbers will have gone down. Now more and more people are asking, you keep on locking down, but the numbers have keep on going up. How many EMCO can we have? If we have another round of EMCO in Selangor, the consequences will be really disastrous. And that I don't think that many of us can really take it, especially those of us with business, with bills to pay. Now, you have suggested localities. I think that is a good idea in terms of localities instead of just a blanket ban in the whole of Selangor. And likewise, previously, for police with 0, they bantai one national lockdown, which doesn't really make sense. Now you see some resemblance of some rationality. I want to go back to consumer issue again. You have mentioned that there are people who are stealing food in your hypermarket. I mean, we are used to seeing people stealing food. But what's the difference then and now when it comes to people going to your place to steal food?
Okay, before I go to that, I just want to add one more thing just now.
Okay.
Another method of actually opening up, okay, we have got the so-called National Recovery Plan. Namaila, I won't argue with that plan first. We asked for 2 doses, right? 2 doses, X%, 10%, 20%, 40% we open. You know that many of us have already got 1 dose. Many. And 1 dose is already more than 17 or 20%, seriously. All right. And I think by mid-July, we will probably be more than 20, 25% with the first dose. First dose efficiency rate is 70%. Why can't we open up with the first dose? Why 2 doses? And I have got personal experience, not myself, my own cousin, okay, who is, normal lah. You can look at me and my cousin will be the same lah, slightly obese, diabetic, high blood pressure. I won't mention all the lungs and the heart and all the stents inside there, okay? But he got first dose, passed that 28 days. The first time the online dose, he got one of those lucky guy, right? AZ one, right? He got it. And he got COVID 2 weeks ago. I got worried for him because, and he says, I'm okay. I can't smell. I lost appetite. Hey, all of us lose appetite anyway. So, but he's okay. And I asked after that 2-3 other people who also, so it's okay. So you see, we need to change some things lah. 2 doses is good. Even after 2 doses, you can get COVID. We all know that.
Yeah.
But 1 dose has 70% efficiency. So we can open up more. We can take that calculated risk. 1 dose, use the 1 dose. We know vaccine will come. We are all praying. It's still coming, But by July, August, September, Tan Sri Anwar Musa say 80% will be vaccinated in Kuala Lumpur. He forgot to mention it will only be in September. We'll be dead by then, you see. That's politicians talking lah, but never mind. We know the problem with the vaccine. We know there's shortages. We understand, it's easy to talk about it. I know supply is always a problem. I'm a businessman. You can pay what you want. When there's no supply, there's no supply. All right? Okay? So that is being sorted out, but okay. But that's 1 dose the thing. Okay, now we go to your question.
People stealing food stuff from your place, the difference then and now.
The main thing about people, pilferage is always high in hypermarket, supermarket, departmental stores. We all know that, obviously, right? But people steal shirts, clothes, people steal television, speakers, high value item, because why? They want to buy a baby milk, especially in carton form. Okay, not one tin, in a carton form, because then they fence it out. They can sell it out, and they get money lah. This is the normal. We call it syndicate stealing lah. And if people steal, they'll steal 1 pencil, 1 pen. They don't pay one lah. Whatever. But now we see some different. People are stealing vegetables, fish, tomato, and they're not stealing a basket of tomatoes. 3 tomatoes, 2 pieces of garlic. When somebody steals 2 pieces of garlic, 3 tomatoes, doesn't it tell you something? The person doesn't want to steal. He just wants enough for himself. So this is my problem. When people start stealing that kind of thing, we know we are in trouble. And stealing in a hypermarket, the person had to go and come all the way here. I cannot imagine what's happening outside there. Seriously. Where less security, we got security, right? So it's bad out there. This is not the way to manage it, because people who are locked down are not getting enough food anyway. I've got my driver who has never got any food. I can't even send the food. All right. Okay. So fine, you lock people down, you got your EMCOs, but not everybody is getting food for various reasons. It's not so easy to manage so many lockdown EMCOs. But there are issues. But you have read, people who want to give food are not allowed to go into EMCO areas, right? The fellow who put outside got fined 1,500 for giving food away. No, we have to start thinking in a better way, lah. I mean, people don't have to follow these kind of rules, like getting saman for the matter, right? Right?
Dato', I have a question for you. You see, all these things, I'm quite sure the government have their experts, those people with expertise, clever people advising them. Yeah? And one of the statements that you made recently is the fact that there has never been any conversation or dialogue between the government or probably the Ministry of Finance with Persatuan Peruncit Bumi Putra like yours, like your outfit. See, why is that happening? Why can't they have at least this kind of conversation or dialogue so that they actually know what is expected of you of them?
I want to correct the statement. I wouldn't say no dialogue. Okay, we have had one or two kind of thing, right? Yeah. But that's not enough because the situation is evolving. All right. I mean, KPD and HAP did have an urgent dialogue before 3-6 months ago. We had one nice dialogue with the minister himself. Okay, with about 70 people, 70 associations explaining our situation. But he also has got limited authority. We understand, right? My question is, why the lack of it? 1-2 dialogue for 16 months is not going to solve it. You could be calling, now with this video conferencing, right? Okay. You could be calling one every week. And the MCO is going to be over on next week. They have not even asked us, the stakeholders. We have got a lot of suggestions. We are not asking you to follow us. Just listen to us and explain. I have a very simple question. Very simple. Why are the parks closed? You allow 2 people to walk. I walk in the morning with my wife on the road in Bangsa. Chances of me walking on the road in Bangsa with our potholes, even in Bangsa.
I often see you at Taman Jaya.
So, potholes in Bangsa. Okay, I can't imagine where else there are potholes. So I have to walk in Bangsa. Risk of being banged by a car. Fumes. Why can't the park be open? I used to go to Lake Garden. I can walk my own pace. I can go far away. Nobody will come next to me. But somebody explain to me why you close parks. Why? Mental stress.
I fully agree with you on that.
But they don't want to. I cannot understand. I've suggested it's out there. Why can't you just change it? Some people seem to have an ego problem. Seriously. A real ego problem. If you cannot listen for simple suggestion and say, that's a good suggestion, let's follow that. I mean, all of us got suggestions. Some are bad suggestions. Some got self-interest suggestion. Open up. A lot of self-interest. We understand that also. So you discount that. I think if they just listen a bit more, I mean, MITI, frankly, has done a good job. They got an excellent WhatsApp group. Okay. Whatever they do, we message, they listen, they try, but we know that up there it's not so easy. But at least dapat meluahkan perasaan. At least we know someone says, okay. And then the KSU is in the group. The TKSU is in the group. You see, it's not some officers in the group only. See? KPD and HAP is supposed to start a WhatsApp group. Not done yet. Okay. But MKN, the real authority, nowhere. They don't talk to anybody. They talk to themselves. That's my question. They're good people in MKN. I'm not saying. I mean, I know some of them. They listen. We message to them. Tolonglah ni salah ni. They reply. But why can't they call? Because they are the final authority, right? Nobody's talking down there. The final authority. Why don't you listen to us? Just call 10, 15 people, each industry, hear us out. Why? Why hide behind the curtain?
Okay, Dato', I want to say something before I move on to the next question. You mentioned the question of bureaucracy and the system. You know that every time there's an MCO reopening, EMCO, then everybody rushes to go into the online to apply for something from MITI, and you know that the system always crashes. Every time they reopen and they close, the system always crash. After more than 1 year, we still can't get our act together. If you cannot handle questions and application, you outsource it. It's very simple like that. But it has gone on for more than a year. The question I have now is this, because Tan Sri mentioned the Ministry of Finance. Now, for retailers and businessmen, so we keep on hearing this moratorium, relax here, relax there in every pre-Hatin announcement. But in actual fact, how do retailers, what kind of situation do they face when they go to banks and say, look, this is what the government has announced. I got this moratorium issue. What is the real situation?
I have an issue when the Prime Minister announced automatic moratorium. I think the word automatic, I'm sure the Prime Minister knows what it means. Maybe the bankers don't know what it means. Maybe Bank Negara refuse to accept what it means. Automatic means automatic. During the first moratorium, it was automatic. They announced it, automatic. So there is an opt-out mechanism. If you say, Dato' Sri said, I don't need a moratorium, I can pay. Fine, Tan Sri, I can pay. Fine. You opt out, right? Why you make us beg? You are asking us to beg, you know. We have to call the officer, we have to tell them. And why you make the system more difficult? It's more bureaucratic. You ask people to apply for a moratorium, then it's automatically approved. I think something wrong here. I apply, then you automatically approve. What kind of logic is that? First to apply, a lot of people, when you go to the lower end, they don't know how to apply. Even the wage subsidy scheme, for example, okay? A lot of people have not got it. They don't know how to apply. They don't know. Borang A, Borang B. For us, it's so simple. But my friend, to fill in the My Sejahtera, the first time, I also don't know how to do it for vaccination. You say, so easy. But the word that Mary said, that comorbidity, I don't know what is the meaning of that. I have to go and check what it is. Diabetes ke apa ni? You see? So, for some people, it's so easy. Senang aja, you know. But for most people, it's difficult. So, automatic means automatic. That means all approved. Those who don't want, you opt out. That's one. Number two, the condition of the moratorium, seriously, if you have not paid the last 3 months, that means 3 bulan tak bayar, 3 months in areas, decline. You are declined. During good times, of course, you don't pay for 3 months. Hey, my tenant don't pay 3 months, that's like kick him out. I agree, 100%. But this is going on for 16 months. People obviously have not paid 3-4 months. My tenants have not paid me for 6 months, 5 months, obviously, right? So you cannot put that restriction. You can say, okay, now 6 months not paid. You know, they insist 3 months not paid, you must pay first before I talk to you. Wow. So that is the second one. The third one is your interest. I know they're not charging so-called compounding interest, but have a heart. Because the interest element is very, very punitive. Very punitive. Okay? For once, just go cost of fund. If you say, I'm not going to give you free of charge, okay, go cost of fund. Your cost of fund is 2.25%. Why are you charging me 5.56%? My friend, the banks are charging me on my overdraft rates is 5.5, 5.75. Me. I'm not ashamed to say me. Can you imagine somebody else out there? All right? Don't listen to these 3%, 4% stories. Let's talk about overdraft because businesses survive on overdraft facilities. Okay? Trade facility, yes. But I ask you again, what trade? Banks are naughty. You know, they are not, no, they say, but you have a trade facility. I cannot moratorium it. That's what the bank says. It's a trade facility. You have to pay. Of course, you can do it, but they don't want to do it. And some banks are worse. They're converting overdraft to BA, to trade facility. They are naughty. I got even banks writing it to tell me, telling me, you know, I don't want to mention the name of the bank, telling me, you know, I want to reduce your facility. I actually want to cancel it, but Bank Negara might know. Can you write to me that you don't need it anymore? Come on. So if bigger players who can pick up a phone call, don't want to say, talk big about it, but can pick up a phone call and ask the CEO or something, what the hell your people are doing? Can you imagine the SMEs, the small retailers out there At least I can call Tan Sri Johan, I can call Dato Sri, But down there, there are people, they have no avenues. And bank don't pick up phone calls.
Yes.
It's not only bank. Another one, I have another friend of mine who said, okay lah, ada satu rumah, I kasih you lah. You give me the extra money, I need the money. I give you my another house. But the land office is closed. The bank says, I have all document. The guy got all documentation ready. He cannot draw down because the land office is closed. The bank refused to budge. Said, no, I cannot do anything. The bank, land office, government closed. Government work from home.
Okay, Tan Sri.
I'm awed by what I heard. I'm surprised. I'm sad. All the emotions that coming in. Anyway,
same here too.
This is something. It's really an eye opener. But Dato, I want to ask you something. Okay, you are Dato Wira Ameer Ali. What about your Persatuan Peruncit Bumi Putra, the members? How do they suffer now? How do they take it now?
It'll be more tears in my eyes. For every Chinese, I'm not trying to be racialistic, for every Chinese that goes down, I'm sure there are 10 Bumis that go down. I'm very sure. Simply because they will not have the capacity. We know the Chinese businesses. I mean, thank God they're around, seriously, right? But they are generation businesses, right? So they started the father, the grandfather. Okay, the piling there, my friend, the piling in the house, the piling is the most important. Nothing else. The plaster can break. The piling is important. They have strong piling. They are dying. Can you imagine the people with no piling, the Bumi Putras? Many of the Bumi Putra entrepreneurs that you have, they are first generation, I mean, forget me lah. I mean, Mydin, but like I say, it's not a conversation about Mydin, right? This is a conversation about the retailers, our country. These are first generation. They are gone. They are gone. And they cannot come back. And the worst is the government has no policy for Bumi Putra. There is no minister now in this whole world, in Malaysia, who can say, kita ada allocation 1 billion untuk Bumi Putra entrepreneur. Tak ada. The guarantee they give, I mean, I don't want to be like, oh, you Bumis always ask for things. But you know what? That is the reality. Okay. For housing, ada quota. Example, 30% quota for Bumi Putra. Of course, I mean, you ask me, why you give 30% Bumi Putra? It should be 60%. The 60 are Bumi. Why you give 30%? Never mind lah, beggars cannot be choosy, right? Okay, never mind lah, our own country, but we take 30%. It's fine, but at least something lah. At least there's some allocation, some so-called handicap, so maybe they get something. But there is no handicap, no special allocation for Bumi Putra. They give 200 million to PUNB, 200 million. The only retailer, I think, a Bumi-centric who is helping the Bumi is PUNB. 200 million. Of course, I will never qualify because that would not be enough even for me to survive. They say, wow, we're so glad we got 200 million. I was actually laughing. How can you say you are happy? You got 200 million. They say, I got 200 million to help the Bumis. What is Bumi? How can you have it 200 million? How many Bumis out there? So there is no real allocation for Bumi Putra. Dana Jamin. PM announced 50 billion Dana Jamin. I call Dana Jamin, hey, ada tak untuk Bumi, maybe I got a better chance lah, can apply lah. Use the handicap where you can. Oh, tak ada directive. Go in the queue, fight with everybody else. So how to survive? I mean, we know the weaker one. Like we see, we know the weaker sex. We know this, we know that. The weaker one needs help. And I'm telling you seriously, the Chinese are not complaining. The Malays are not, the Indians are not complaining. If you give them the handicap, because we want we don't want social unrest. Where help is needed, you give. But we don't want cronies either, lah. You know, we don't want. But you give the people. No, I'm telling you, no reasonable businessman says don't help. Nobody says, right? So this is how we should be doing it. But there's nothing. There's nothing, seriously.
Are your retailers already waving the white flag?
They can't afford to buy the flag. I think many of them have closed. I know many of them who used to have 10 F&B outlets. Now they're keeping one. Only one because of what? Reputational risk. Hoping he can come up again and start. Okay? But you see, there's no national recovery plan. We're talking about fighting something. We haven't talked about the next. See, maybe the government is thinking. I agree with Tan Sri. We got brilliant people. We got excellent people in civil service. You know, I only ask one only. You know, let the civil service do their job. I think, knowing some of them, I think they know their job.
Yeah, I agree so.
I know for sure they know what to do. They have the heart for the country. But people are not allowing them to do. You know, I wish it could be done. Which is the correct thing to do. Civil servants are supposed to run the country. Politicians, they come and go. It doesn't matter to seriously any one of us, right? Let them come. Okay, you are here today, you are there tomorrow. All politicians, they come and go. It's okay. They're politicians. You do your job. Your job, politicians, you go down. Make sure your constituents taken care. You hold the baby, you take a photograph, you give a barcode 50 ringgit. Now becoming 40 ringgit. Today I got request for barcode 30 ringgit. Even the barcode is going down.
And their faces, the pictures of their faces bigger than the food.
I mean, I pity them. I pity the people. I mean, I do a lot of barcodes for people, for charities or whatever, you know. And you know what the worst story? They always want rice in the barcode. And I tell people who ask, don't put rice. Not because people don't need rice. The poor has got too much rice. Everybody gives rice, sugar, and flour. Of course, I don't make money on rice, sugar, and flour. So, but that's not the point. The point is, everybody gives the same thing. Nobody wants to give diapers, because diapers is one pack, 28, 30 ringgit, Diapers. People need diapers. People need medicine. No Panadol. Minyak merah tu.
Minyak sapu.
One NGO got brain one, one NGO, only yesterday I did a package for them. Brilliant. I don't want to give rice, sugar, and flour. Dato', can you come up with a package for children below 12? Give them oats, give them healthier food, give them milk, and then one more package. The same person, I cannot mention the name, unfortunately, also said, can you do a package for elderly? I put adult Pampers, I put the minyak merah to minyak sapu, correct? Panadol, plaster, Salon Plus, plaster, because I also sell all those things, and logically people need those things,
Yes.
So a package for the elderly, people should be doing those kinds of things also, but anyway.
Okay, final question from Tan Sri Johan Jafar, and a final word from Dato' Mydin.
It looks like we have yet to see the light at the end of the tunnel, Dato'. So what is your view about that? Well, where do we go from here?
Seriously, I'm worried to answer the question, because you say we are yet to see the light end of the tunnel. I'm worried. When you look the light end of the tunnel, the light's another train coming the other side. Then we are in bigger trouble, because I think this is not going to get over, right? Now you got Delta strain, this and all those kind of stories, right? Of course, people say we need to learn how to live with it. I think there's no choice, and everybody agrees on that. We need to live with it. I think some countries are approaching it better, with more positivity. My only thing is here, we have a beautiful country. We have got beautiful people. The only seriously balanced multiracial country in the world. I mean, The three of us here are talking. One Chinaman, one Bumi, one Mama campur tapu mana tak tahu lah, But we are not going to take out swords and kill each other. Not like other countries. We have a beautiful culture. I think we have a lot of things we can do. Our people are also educated. I mean, don't listen to Bloomberg lah. It's a failed state. They've got their own agenda. Maybe they forgot the definition of a failed state. You tell me Ethiopia or where I believe I see what's happening there. Come on, that is wrong. But we know the agenda. We know certain media's agenda. So let's discount that. Okay, we are not a failed state, but we can become one if you don't do something about it. And there are a lot of things that we can do. If you put the COVID aside, a lot of things that can be sorted out. We have an economic council, but we don't hear seriously. There is a communication gap out there. I'm sure they're doing work out there. I'm not questioning them, but it's, communication is 90%, winning the work, right? They say that is the main thing. I mean, your people are the press people, you communicate it right? There's no communication. We don't hear ministers talking. We don't hear KSUs coming out and talking. We don't know what is happening. There could be a lot of things they're doing behind the scene. Yeah. But come on, you got to show off once in a while. You got to wear a tie out there and say, I'm doing my work. You angkat bakul sendiri. Jangan bagi bakul saja. Angkat bakul sendiri. So I think the government has a trust deficit. We know that.
Yes.
Okay? And they must be doing something good, And please, the government cannot keep giving handouts. And please, we also don't want any handouts. Thank you.
Thank you. I think that sums it all. We cannot be hoping for government to keep on giving us money, and we don't want these handouts. We just want businesses to continue in a SOP manner and for jobs to be safe, revenue to be earned, and to keep the consumption pattern and for business to continue. Seriously, we have run out of time. Not just this program we're talking about for the country, but like Dr. Mydin, we agree that this is not a failed nation. We are not a country with colonies of homeless people out there. Definitely no. I mean, if they point us as a failed state, they should look at their own backyard. We believe in Malaysia. We believe in fellow Malaysians of all races that we will come together. Dr. Mydin, Tan Sri John Jafar, we all share the same aspiration and the same destination. We love Malaysia. Thank you, Malaysians, for watching this. And thank you, gentlemen, for following this program and supporting this initiative. Good night, everybody. Thank you, Tan Sri, Dato'.
Thank you.